Welcome to the Connecting the Dots podcast with your host, Lee Ashby Watts. Our podcast is committed to delivering marketing, branding, and strategy advice for the small business owner. And now, let's start connecting the dots.
Welcome. Hey, it's Lee Watts with Ashby & Watts Consulting. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I am going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is creating a target audience persona. Now, when I'm coaching clients, this is one of the topics that people love to just gloss over or move through very quickly because they think they already know their target audience or that it won't be that critical as they're building their brand. But knowing your target audience and being very clear on many aspects of that audience is foundational with creating a brand and creating a strategic marketing strategy. So when you know your target audience, a few things happen. You are able to rise above the noise, especially the digital noise, because you know exactly how to talk to your target audience. You're able to actually save money, marketing dollars, because you won't waste as much time trying out different things and maybe investing in things to reach your audience because you know exactly where they are and what they're doing. And then you overall just have more clarity on the problem that you're solving and how to meet that problem, solve that problem for your client. Now, when I say target audience, this doesn't mean that you can't sell or market or, network with people outside of that audience. It just means you're kind of clear, or not kind of, you're very clear on the audience that you really enjoy solving their problems for. It means that you know when you're doing that Facebook post or that LinkedIn post, you know exactly who you're talking to and who's going to resonate with that post. When you're creating your website, you know the words, the tone, the emotion to invoke to reach that ideal audience. So it just helps you to be really clear on how you communicate and how you solve problems and even how you spend your money. Now, I do want to emphasize that you can have multiple personas based on your services or products. So you may have different tiers of services or products, and each one of those reaches or touches a different type of individual who may have different challenges, and that's fine. I do also want to emphasize that if you're really, really early in your company, your branding, your business, you may not know exactly who your target audience is. I didn't really realize I'm in business for 5 years now. The first 2 or 3 years, I generally knew, but as you learn what you're good at, the problems that you solve more easily, who you work more closely with, who understands you and what you're doing, and who you're able to understand, then you really are able to focus in on who exactly your target audience is. So I want to break down just a few tips on how to develop that target audience. So I hope you have a pen and paper if you don't have your target audience already in mind, or if you just need to sharpen it. Because again, when I'm doing my clarity coaching and clarity sessions, often when I start talking about the target audience, people will give me phrases like, well, I want to help parents, or I want to help women over the ages of 35, or I want to help everyone in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's way too broad. And trust me, the broader you are with your target audience, the more competition there is. So you want to niche down and be really specific. So here are a few things to consider when you're developing your target audience persona. And I like using the word persona, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But number one is gender. Now, again, this does not mean that you will not serve, that you will not sell to, that you will not provide content and services for people outside of this gender. When I try to get my clients to focus on gender, they are always like, but I know men will like this, or I think men will read my book too. Well, yes, they may, but who are you talking to when you are creating that brochure, when you are writing content for your website, when you are creating an emotion on your social media? You can't usually, not all the time, it's usually a gender that you're speaking directly to. So gender, knowing the age range is also helpful because different ages speak differently to each other. Knowing location, and sometimes that's an issue and sometimes it's not, because if you have a digital brand, it may stretch across all types of, cities, countries, states, all of that. So it may not matter. But think about it, because you may be talking to a specific region. If your brick and mortar location definitely will matter. But think about, does this matter in how I communicate and how I attract my audience? Income level. How much, especially if you're selling to individuals, what can they bear? What can they afford? It's interesting because as a brand and as a business, of course, you want to make money. But for example, my ideal client is not necessarily ready to write me $100,000 check or a $10,000 check and slide it across the table. I often tell my clients to do this, close your eyes and think about your ideal client sitting across the table from you. What does he or she look like? What are they talking about? What can they do right then? What's concerning them? All of those things. All those things I'm going to talk to you about now. But this person's across the table from you. This person across the table from me, who's my ideal client, she works a full-time job, but she's trying to launch her business. So she has a side hustle. She has extra income, but she may not be able to write me a huge $6,000, $10,000 check to get started. Money is not always the driving factor for who your target audience is. Yes, we want to make money, but the problems that you're able to solve, the people that you resonate with, who you're able to really connect with, what is their income level? What can they pay you, and who do you want to attract? Also, knowing if education level will be a factor in how you position yourself in the market and how people will come to you. It may not be, but also just one of those things to consider. If marital or family status is a factor, some of my clients are life coaches and they have a niche or target audience for divorced women or for widowed women or widowed people in general. And some of them have, some of my clients are targeting parents. So knowing the marital family status of your target audience is really, really important. If occupation or industry is important, think about that. And then sometimes ethnic background is important. It's sometimes important in, again, how you select images for your marketing, how you communicate, just the tone of it is important. So think about all of those things. Some other very critical things to think about is also the hobbies that your audience may have. Now, you may think like, well, Lee, this is business and I am selling my business. But guess what? People buy people. And how you know your clients, your target audience's interests and hobbies and how they are drawn into people and how they relate to people is really important. And it's important for you to know yours as well. Authenticity and how you show up on social media is critical to, again, the emotion that you create with your ideal audience and how they will connect to you. So again, using myself as an example, I really enjoy working out and fitness and fashion and those type of things. And my ideal client also enjoys those things. So I know that as I show up with authenticity, then I will also attract that ideal client. And she'll appreciate me, and she's looking for me as well. And I hope all that makes sense. But knowing what your ideal client is and what they're attracted to is really important, so you can round out some of your marketing and some of your social media and how you connect to that audience. Now, the next two things that I want to mention as you're thinking about your ideal audience, your target audience, is really, really critical in how you set up your marketing strategy. And that is knowing the challenges that they face and how you can solve that problem. And often, I ask this in my brand clarity sessions, and people like to talk about a big challenge that they know that they're having, that their ideal client is having. But I want you to get really, really laser focused and specific about those challenges. Write down the questions, like 3 or 4 questions on the issues that you know that your ideal audience is struggling with, and the questions that they're asking, that they're Googling, that they're searching for solutions for. Because when you really, really know and understand the challenges and the questions of your ideal target audience, then you know how to show up. You know how to solve those problems. You know the language to use. You know how to sell it. And you know how fast and slow to go with the sell. So knowing those challenges that they face with specificity is very critical. So know those challenges and the questions that they're asking. And the other important point is to know what makes your audience move. What is their mindset? Where are they mentally, and what gets them ready to sign the dotted line, to engage with you, to move forward with you? A lot of times in marketing and in business, we call this the buyer's journey or the client journey, and knowing the process of how a client goes from just meeting you or Googling you or seeing you on social media to how they make the final decision to buy. So knowing what motivates them mentally and emotionally. Emotional marketing is really, really critical. Oftentimes we don't buy out of logic, we buy out of emotion. So what emotion are you creating with your marketing, your website, your marketing collateral, your social media? And oftentimes you can't do that. You need someone else to do that for you. And that's fine. But when you know those keywords and you know your audience, you're able to instruct people that assist you and people that help you on capturing that emotion. So make sure you're able to do that. And then one of the other things, I mentioned the persona part. So, we've all seen these avatars that you can create on social media and online. Well, it's important to create an avatar for your ideal target audience. I do this often with my clients. I'll come up with a name of the ideal client that we've narrowed down, because when we get off track or when we're struggling and we don't know what to write or how to approach a problem, often we can close our eyes and say, let's say the avatar's name is Shirley and we have her in our head. We can say, would this resonate with Shirley? Would Shirley buy this? Especially if you're getting off track and again, you're stuck. It's a great way to pull you back if you know who your ideal audience truly is. Now, I want to talk about asking your audience questions. So, it can come across as very arrogant if you walk into a client meeting as if you have all the answers, or a potential client. It is important for you to take time to ask your audience questions and find out what their needs are, even if you think you know them, which you should know to some degree. But people like, number one, to be asked questions. And number two, depending on what's happening, those needs and those concerns may have changed. And you need to understand how you're going to approach them and how you're going to communicate. Now, at the time of this recording, it's in May. We're in a pandemic. Whoever your audience was and whatever their concerns were in February are, I guarantee you, probably completely different right now. So, taking time to really survey and ask your audience, even if they're not your client yet, ask them questions so that you can truly understand what is going on in the head of your clients, potential customers. Now, finally, I want you to think about who your anti-persona is. Now, as I mentioned, when I first started my business 5 years ago, I had an idea of, who I wanted to help and what I wanted to do. And I was doing that, but I also started to realize who I wasn't connected to. I either wasn't good for them on the way that I provided services, or they frustrated me. And I knew I didn't want to work like that. So and I knew I couldn't solve their problems. That's one of the key things. It's finding out who your anti-persona is. It's either they are, you can't solve their problems. They're coming to you with problems that you're not able to, quickly meet their needs. It could be a timing issue. They need more than what you can provide, either, again, in resources or timing, or it's just a personality thing where I don't connect to these type of people. When I say that women are my ideal audience, it's not that I don't completely connect to men, but my passion, my goals, the way I want to vibe in my business is I prefer to work with women. So know who your anti-persona is. Does that mean that you will never take any services or sell to people outside of this anti-persona? Sometimes they will come along, and you have to make a decision on if you want to engage. Now, when I say that men are not part of my ideal target audience, it doesn't mean that they are part of the anti-persona, though. It just means that, I can choose whether I want to work with them. Part of my anti-persona, just to give you some clarity and an example, I prefer working with people who are working full-time or somewhat full-time, have a job, and have decided to launch a business. They have a side hustle, and they need help with clarity. They need help pulling it together, getting it off the ground, getting into a flow. That's my ideal audience, getting them started and pushing them on. I'm not very good when I have to come into the middle of a marketing strategy. That's not for me. I don't know what's going on. I didn't help you develop this. I may not even agree with how you're moving. That's not normally where I want to go. And then oftentimes when I have taken on clients that don't have a full-time job or work in corporate or work somewhere else, they need me at times that I can't provide them assistance, and it creates frustration. So I know what my boundaries are. I know who I can serve more easily and meets my goals and my flow. And you have to think about that for your life. Who you are jazzed and inspired to help, and what meets your lifestyle and how you want to create and set up your business. So I just want to encourage you to really think about who your target audience is, who that persona is, and really dig deep, because I promise you, when you have clarity around your target audience, it reduces so much confusion, and more than anything, it creates revenue. Now, I am developing a course that I'm so excited about because clarity is one of my foundational principles, my values. I am jazzed about helping people create clarity. So I am developing a course on how you can develop clarity in your business. And of course, I'm always there to help and answer questions, but so many people are just wanting a refresher or to do it on their own, or maybe, they don't want me to get involved, or they can't afford my fees or anything like that. So I'm creating a course for you to work through on your own. So stay on the lookout for that. And definitely, if you have any questions, I'll leave my email address and my website in the information below, but I'll go ahead and tell you too. It's Lee, Lee at ashbyandwatts.com. So reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this brought you more clarity on who your target audience is. And thank you for helping me to always connect the dots. Have a good one.